Hey, Spike.
Hello.
So, you're here in LA, and you've got like two movies coming up. You've got one that was at Sundance that you produced, Cronies.
Exec produce.
Right.
One of my students. His name is Michael Larnell, and the film is called Cronies. And this is his thesis film at NYU.
Where you graduated.
Where I graduated.
Back in the day, as did I, but not on the production side.
And I've been there for 15 years. I got tenure this summer. I'm also artistic director at NYU Graduate Film School, so I enjoy teaching very, very much.
Well, you've always enjoyed bringing up talented people from the beginning of your career. People that no one knew were as talented as they were.
Well, I always try to do what I try to do. There are many roles in the film, but I try to have, you might call, set-asides to give some talented people who, up to that point, had not been given a chance, a platform to show what they can do. Example, you have Jasmine Guy in School Days, Do the Right Thing. It's Rosie Perez's first film. Martin Lawrence's first film. Robin Harris' first film. Jungle Fever was Halle Berry's first film. Queen Latifah's first film. Clock was Mekhi Phifer's first film. So throughout the years, we've been able to do that. And
well, even Samuel Jackson and Denzel weren't who they were when you made them
who
they were.
Denzel, Samuel, I'm not taking credit for that. You guys were well established before we worked together.
Well, Do the Right Thing was obviously a clear inspiration for Cronies.
No.
Because
he said
he's doing some of the
radio
stuff.
I think it's more she's got to have it where people talking to the camera. But well, for me, for Cronies, I see she's going to have it in Jim Jarmusch's Strange in Paradise.
Black and white.
Black and white. And just it takes place.
It's gorgeous.
Yeah.
It's beautifully shot.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this guy, he's going places.
Well, another NYU student.
All right, so talk about, obviously I've been tracking the Kickstarter thing from the beginning, and I've been a big supporter.
Thank you very much.
Because I get it. I
Thank
understand what you're doing. You're doing it smart.
Mm-hmm.
You've got your whole team behind you. You've got the social media figured out.
Not figured out, but working on it.
You have to. No one ever knows, by the way.
You're working on it. But I like to thank my children, my daughter Saj, my son Jackson, prodded me into the world of technology. Prodded me to be on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
How old are they now?
Well, my daughter Satchel's a sophomore at NYU Film School, undergrad, and my son is a senior in high school.
That's what children are for.
Yeah.
Keep us abreast with technology. But the idea with Kickstarter, I mean, some people say, hey, Spike, you make money, you do commercials, what do you need our money for? There's a real new model which has to do with having a fan base, and that's what you're working on.
Well, here's the thing, though. The people who said that I don't need to be on Kickstarter, they don't have to support it. And what I try to emphasize is that the principles of Kickstarter I was doing back in 1985, we raised $175,000, but she's got to have it. We just didn't have the technology, but the principles are the same. So this is not something new to me.
Well, the first time I interviewed you was for She's Gotta Have It back in the day when I worked
that's back.
in the LA Weekly, back in the John Pearson day. What you were then is not that. I don't know how to. I want to say this properly. What I mean properly. It's not that you're not different. You are way different. You've grown up. You've had many years to do what you do. But you were an indie then, and you didn't wait for somebody to give you permission to do what you wanted to do. And you're an indie now, and you're not waiting for permission still.
I appreciate that, but I see myself more as a hyphenate because I go back and forth. It just matters. What matters is where where the project is and what the budget is. But I'm an indie, but you have to look at it. School Days was at Columbia. Do the Right Thing, Universal
True.
Pictures.
True.
Mo Better Blues Mo Better Blues was Universal. Jungle Fever was Universal. Crook was Universal. Malcolm X is Warner Brothers.
Which you took control of in a way that they might not have liked, as we chronicled.
Yeah, but me, Terry Simmel, and who's the other guy?
Daly, Bob Daly.
Yeah, Bob Daly. We've been cool for years. That's like a long time ago. So, but that was a different time.
Yeah,
And here's the thing,
today
though.
is different.
Here's the thing. It's because I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but when I have somebody like Tom Pollock, they don't make guys like that anymore. With the exception of a couple of films, all those films were done under Tom Pollock. A lot of them at Universal.
Yeah, no, you had a team that backed
I mean,
you there.
Tom Pollock had my back, and what a lot of people don't know, there was pressure on Tom Pollock not to release Do the Right Thing, or at least wait until the summer's over, because black folks were gonna run amok, and he stood his ground.
Yeah, he did.
And he did this after doing Last Temptation of Christ, Scorsese's film, where he received death threats and had to have a bodyguard. That happened after. Do the Right Thing happened after that. So I always gonna tip my hat to Tom Pollock. I have nothing but love for Tom Pollock.
So you're going back and forth, but what I also see is that you love doing documentaries. You and Marty Scorsese are into the documentaries, which gives you a certain amount of freedom. HBO has been backing you on a number of these.
Yes.
And you love music. You and Alex Gibney, you guys get to do that.
Well, I
that.
recently did Bad 25, which is a making of Michael Jackson's Bad album. Now we're working on Off the Wall.
Wow.
So both of those been for Sony Records and the Michael Jackson, Epic Records, and the Michael Jackson estate.
And you got a Pharrell Williams thing, right? Where did I get
what?
that? Did I say
No,
his
I did
name
something. No, I did something for him that was for Amex.
Live. That was Apollo
Yeah.
Live.
Yeah, that was a show I directed live from the world famous Apollo Theater, 125th Street in Harlem. That was fun.
Well, one of the things you've done over your career too is you've supported. One of the people you supported was Gina Prince Bythewood, who Love and Basketball, which
Yeah,
you
I was
produced,
executive
which a lot of
producer on
people
that.
don't know. And you guys, you know, she had a great movie this year, Beyond the Lights, which is like yet another case where the light did not shine the way it should have on the film.
Well, I like the film very much. What happened as far as box office, I can't speak of because I don't know.
And then the other thing that happened this year was Ava DuVernay's Selma, which you've been a supporter of as well. But you've also been sort of, I mean, back when Do the Right Thing, you know, didn't get some of the awards that maybe it could have gotten, some of the nominations you would have liked. You know, you were pissed. But with Ava, you've been a little more circumspect about it. It's an interesting shift.
I don't think that is circumspect. I think that with Selma, that's not the first time. Forget about race. That's not the first time. You know, Alfred Hitchcock, I don't think ever won.
Never.
So this happens. So I was not like outraged. I mean, this happened, and Selma's not the first time it's happened. It's going to happen after Selma. It happened before Do the Right Thing. I mean, you look at those films, Scorsese. I mean, Goodfellas, that lost, Raging Bull. I'm not going to name the films it lost out to, but people still watch Raging Bull and Goodfellas.
That's true. That's true. And now, one of the recent things that's happened is that Amy Pascal has just recently left Sony. Is that a departure that you feel bad about?
I just found out about it. You know, I wish her well. Amy will be fine.
We're not feeling sorry for Amy,
What?
right?
I don't want anybody to get fired. I'm just saying Amy's gonna be fine, and they take care of you. That's just the way it is.
So talk a little bit about this horror comedy that's coming out and how it's coming out and why it's coming out the way it is.
Well, I would not classify it as a horror comedy. I wouldn't even use the word horror. The film is called The Sweet Blood of Jesus, and this is a film that we financed through Kickstarter. In 30 days, we raised $1.4 million.
Including $40
Thank
of
you.
my money.
Thank you very much.
I love the updates.
We got too many, huh?
No, I like them.
And this is a reimagination of the seminal film of black independent cinema, Gandhi and Hess, by Bill Gunn. Tremendous writer, director. I saw that film when I was in film school. And it's always stuck with me, but I never thought about doing something with it. And then in teaching class, in teaching class, also have my one-on-one advisements. So many of my students were using Kickstarter, Indiegogo, for the finance of their films. And some said, you should try it. So then I did the research. I called up 2 to 3 co-founders, Yancey and Perry, and they gave me a hardcore schooling on how I could make it. Because
it took a little courage.
Well, I don't think it was. I wouldn't call it
you
courage.
Were confident. You were confident that you had the support.
I was confident, but I wasn't going to bet the house because that's like a political campaign.
Yeah.
You have to work at it. I mean, hardly any office got done at 40 acres because everybody on payroll was working on the Kickstarter campaign because failure was not an option. There are a lot of haters out there who did not want us to succeed. But as my man Robert Mitchum and Ray Rahim said, love conquers hate. Love, I'm looking right into the camera. Love will always conquer hate. And by the grace of God, we made our goal.
So you do it again, huh?
I didn't say that. But we're very grateful. And also, with this doing a Kickstarter, it opened my mind up to a whole lot more possibilities to the distribution. With my last film, Red Hook Summer, we had a very limited release. Like 20, I would say 15, the top 15 markets. One theater in each city. And I got, people complaining that, I don't live here. Where can I see it? And so we want to rectify that. That's why it came out on Vimeo first.
Mm-hmm.
January 13th. And now coming up on February 13th.
Is the VOD? Is
going to be the theatrical release in, I think, 20 markets. So this whole thing is changing, so I'm open to, the new possibilities and strategies and getting the film to people want to see it.
So what kind of measurements do you have? What kind of reaction are you getting from do you hear from people from Vimeo, from all
Oh yeah,
that?
people, especially the people live in Dubuque or wherever where the theatrical release is not going to be. They're very excited that they got to see it and didn't have to wait for 6 months down the line.
I got Dana Harris sitting next to me. You got a question for Spike?
What do you think was the hardest part of doing the whole crowdfunding experience? What was it? Because you said you had basically your entire payroll working on this.
It's a grind. You have to have new material. You have to keep track of the money coming in. You got to go get the money, and people promise said they're gonna send it in. So it's hard work. But I've never run for hard work. But anybody that thinks that they're gonna do a crowdfunding on Indiegogo and Kickstarter just skate, I don't think they're gonna be successful.
There is going to be a new model apparently where instead of being just a donor, you are an investor.
There's a legal change that has to take place for that to happen. It's like, so because right now there's laws that basically forbid you from being an equity stakeholder in a film.
Yeah, the laws are gonna change because too many people doing it, so they're gonna switch it up.
Exactly. Well, this
But
is
a lot of other countries, though, they don't. I think the UK, they don't allow that.
No, I don't think they do.
They do or they don't.
I don't think they do either. What about and so what has the Vimeo distribution experience been like for you? I was actually with the Vimeo guys last night and
Good. I mean, they've been great. You know, they've done everything we've asked them to do, and they're providing a platform for people to see the film, particularly people who don't live in the cities where the theatrical release is going to be on February 13th.
So a lot of movies that you have wanted to see get made are finally getting made. What are some of the ones that you're waiting for still? That, you know, the dream projects that you still haven't been able to do.
What films
For
are you talking about?
directing. Well, like Martin Luther King finally got made. There was a Jackie Robinson movie. I would have loved to have seen you.
I was
Jackie
attached to that
Robinson.
for a while.
Yeah. Are there
And the
some
James
other
Brown
sort of exactly? Are there some other ones that you want to see get done that you'd like to get done?
Yeah, but I'm not going to talk about those, but because that puts a jinx on it. Yeah, but I did. I mean, I was attached to those. I mean, to those films. Yeah, didn't work out.
They were really hard to get made. They took forever. I'd like to think that there's some shift in the zeitgeist that's going to make it a little easier as there's more success. Do you see any progress being made?
In what?
In the receptivity for financing movies that are aimed at a largely African American audience?
I just think it goes in cycles, 10-year cycles.
what about just with Sundance having just happened? I mean, it's like She's Gotta Have It was Island, I think, released that.
Island Pictures,
Yeah.
1986. They bought it. The world premiere was at the San Francisco Film. I don't remember if they bought it there or in Cannes. I don't remember.
And so, in that time, do you feel? I mean, and obviously, Island is long gone. And do you feel like the independent film business is essentially the same beast that it was?
I don't think it's the same. I mean, how can it be the same with YouTube and all this other technology, other platforms to get your stuff made? I mean, did you go to Sundance? I mean, there's a lot of,
There was a lot of diversity at
There's a lot,
Sundance in
yeah.
a good way.
but where those films get distribution
Indeed.
is another thing.
Yeah.
But you gotta crawl before you walk, and the first step is to get the thing made.
So what have you got coming up? What else have we got to look forward to?
Well, I'm working on presently working on this off-the-wall documentary on Michael's album, and writing.
Good.
Writing.
Thank you, Spike.
Thank you.